All right, Makia, thank you. It's time now for our Monday morning quarterbacks. And today we have Democratic strategist Antjuan Seawright and Republican strategist Jaclyn Colbeth joining us live. Thank you for both of you coming on today. I have to begin with the U.S. military attacks over the weekend in Iran and the decision to get involved there. Jaclyn, I'll start with you and your thoughts, and then you, Antjuan.
Sure. I think for good reason, the American people do not love to hear that we are involved with another war in the Middle East. That said, I do think that Iran is probably one of the least sympathetic countries that we would go into, in the respect where they have spent decades, my entire lifetime, terrorizing the entire globe. People have capitulated to them. Previous presidents have capitulated to them. And this is exactly what peace through strength will look like once they are forced to rebuild and regroup.
So you would call it a necessary move?
Yeah, I do think it's a necessary move. I think it shows a lot of courage. I think that previous presidents have spent a lot of time, and well in other countries, appeasing this regime. And I think we all know that there is no way to appease terrorists other than to fight fire with fire. And while it might be unfortunate, it's absolutely necessary.
Antjuan, your thoughts?
Well, the No New War team just essentially put us in a posture of war. We know that there will be some sort of retaliation from Iran. That's to be expected. But this president campaigned to the American people there would be no new wars under his watch. In fact, he criticized previous presidents, including President Biden, about this idea of war and so forth. So we see the hypocritical posture from this president and this administration once again. But more importantly, I think most reasonable people would agree that we do not want Iran having access or having a nuclear weapon. We all know the consequences that could mean. However, we do know that this president has no apologies about government overreach and abusing his power. As I understand it, from congressional leaders that I have spoken to, they were not consulted on this matter. I think we'll hear more about that this week. And we still do not know what the long-term consequences will be. We also know that this administration and his top officials around the matter are not on the same page. The minute his vice president came off television on Sunday, we saw him tweet or post something different, contrary to what even Pete Hegseth said on, I think, on national TV as well. So there's so many uncertainties around what happened this weekend. The only thing we can do is hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and capitalize on what comes, as Dr. Seuss taught us in the 3rd grade.
So what I'm hearing, it may not necessarily be the what, but the how it all happened. I'll stay with you, Antjuan, then I'll end with you, Jaclyn. The big, beautiful bill, we know that July 4th deadline is coming up. How do you think it will fare in the end?
Well, I'm glad that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, because we know this is the big, ugly bill. We know the largest cuts to supplemental nutrition assistance programs in the history of this country. Millions of Americans, I think 14 million plus, will be kicked off the health rolls. Deductibles will increase, co-pays will increase, not to mention all the things that are tucked away in the bill that we have not even heard loud there what it will mean for the American people, all to give a bailout or a tax break to the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. The devil's in the details. We'll see what happens when the bill comes out of the Senate. I'm confident that the American people responding to the way they are, holding Republicans accountable, will hopefully derail and deter them from doing something that only God knows will impact generations of people in this country.
Antjuan, thank you. Jaclyn, you got less than 30 seconds to respond.
Sure. The big, beautiful bill really is a structural reset. We are moving from borrow and spend to growth and tariffs to bring about fiscal change. So while the Democrats seem to have issues with literally everything in it, I think that the majority of Americans, not just the wealthy ones, are going to see those Trump tax cuts, and they're going to be put in there permanently. And there's a whole host of other things I don't even have time to get into that this bill will provide a lot of relief and a lot of security for our country.
All right, we'll be watching to see what happens. Thank you to you both for joining us here. We appreciate it.